This is going to be demonstrating the test mode. So I've got Spirit Blaster here. It's got a power coming from a power supply, but would be normally your battery. And then I only got the one cable connected up to the Spengler here to make sure Spengler Link to make sure it is powered up, and it is connected internally. The audio cable I'm not connecting right now, so I'll just kind of zoom in here. Does not want to go in much closer. Okay, there we go. So there's the board. Let's make sure you can see that LED. Those wires down out of the way. Okay, so when I turn on the power, not much happens. And as soon as both of these jumpers go on, we should see it flash the firmware version. So I'll try not to block that. Put on that one first. And let's make sure, good, still in the frame. As soon as I put this one on, it should flash once. So it was 1, the da-da-da is for the decimal point, and then 2 flashes. So this is version 1.2 of the firmware running on this board. The other thing, I guess I should have started with that, but all the switches should be off on the wand. Hard to show you that right now. But then you have to remove both of these. So now it's waiting. It's making sure some of the switches are off, and it's going like, okay, now it's time to test the jumpers. So here's the first jumper. So when that jumper's on, you can see it's just flashing 1 over and over again. When you remove it, that should stop flashing. So next thing we check is the second select, and it's saying that's 2. So there's 2 flashes. Then we get to take that off. Next thing it's going to look for is, can we power on? So power the wand on. So that's the bottom switch on the front face. If I flip that up, you'll hear the wand start up. And there, you saw the flash that said, hey, I saw that you turned it on. Life is good. Okay, the next thing we want to do then is check that the ear push button, oh, guess I'm not showing that very well. I'm going to reach out over here to the ear push button, and I'm going to press and hold that. While I'm holding it, you can see that it still flashes. When I release it, it stops. It goes, okay, that has been checked. So the next thing we're going to check is that it can see that the motor starts up. So I'm going to start it up. I have to kind of hold this because it tends to move around a little bit on my bench. So 2 things happen there. The first one, it flashed to say it saw the motor. Then it goes like, I'm going to try to change the mode. You heard it click, and then it actually did change the mode, and you can hear the slime blower now. So that means that also works. So it's able to sense the motor and do that. The next test is the light, kind of the vent lights in here. So when I'm going to flip the top toggle switch on the board, and there you go. There you saw the, it's still moving around. That was to show that it noticed that the the vent light was turned on. So last thing we do is just turn that off. And when we shut down the wand, it flashed a whole bunch of times, say, hey, you have passed the self-test. So I'll put all the switches back in the down position. Now, we believe that is working fine. So let's look at the setup we have here. So I'm going to turn my power off. I'm going to connect the pack lights, Spirit pack lights here, and I'm leaving that cable out. So if you first turn on, it should go, hey, there's no wand, and so it starts up. And if we then take this and plug it in for the wand, with the wand still powered down, you see it notices that and shuts everything down. So that's another test. So if we start up the wand, it notices, it goes, woohoo, life is good. And then we'll shut it down again. Now, if you're not getting that to work right now, at least this should always work. If we pull that out, and even just turn the whole, if we just turn the whole thing off without any wand connected, it should start up and power automatically. Now the other thing we can do is, since we've got two inputs here on the, let me get this down, make sure you can see that well. On the soundboard we got two jacks. This is the one that the wand normally plugs into, right there. We can take that and actually plug it into the audio connector. That sound is actually coming from the wand. Those thumps are what's telling it, hey, those are actually control signals, but you're hearing them because this is the audio. If you power up the wand, that should stop and you can hear the wand coming through the speaker. So when it's down, you hear that. So that's saying at least we got both things coming through here, audio and the control. So if you plug that in on this side, where it's supposed to go, if it does not shut down, then possibly you're getting those two crossed. The other thing to check is if we turn on the wand and off, I can hear the audio, so we know the audio is coming through the correct way. And since I don't hear any pulsing, I'll even turn that up all the way. I don't hear any pulsing at all. That's saying that the wires are correct for this. If we have those two swapped, you won't be able to hear the audio from the wand, but you should be hearing that thumping sound. So that's how we can verify that this cable is correct. So I think that's about everything to show you the debug of, at least a quick debug of this board. Have fun.